The time has come once again for the Rhino Removal Project with your flag-waving, gun-toting, God-fearing host, Cindy Page.
That's me. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you are listening to me and watching me. Thank you for joining me once again for another edition of the Rhino Removal Project. I am your hostess with the mostest, Cindy Page. Boy, do we have a lot to get into. Today is March the 12th, 2021, the 51st day of 46's worst presidency, and I have just, after last night's ridiculousness, I have come to the conclusion that now I can replace Obama replaced Jimmy Carter with being the worst president. I'm going to replace Barack Obama with Joe Biden as being the worst president, even though most of us know that this is Barack behind the scenes, along with Kamala. Anyway, today is Friday. For some, that means, it's the beginning of a weekend. It's spring break here in Brevard County, Florida. So a lot of people are getting ready to go on vacation. That's wonderful. Wish all of you safe and happy travels. Go and be free, maskless, wherever you're going. Just make a statement. I'm telling everybody out there, please make a statement. And if you are a mask wearer and a believer, then you're probably not going to like my podcast, because I'm going to start teaching you ways to be lions, not sheep. All right, let's go ahead and go to my best friend Rayanne. Thank you, Rango, for this fantastic book that I get to share with my listeners. Although there's few of you, go ahead and on that note, why don't you go ahead and click the like button right down here, right down there. Click that like button, okay, and then share this video and share the channel, because I need some more subscribers so that more people can hear the truth. And speaking of the truth, we're going to go to God Calling today. March 12th is simplicity. Okay, the Bible promise for today is, but seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Which means, I think we've had a theme over the last couple of days and verses and whatnot. And the theme is, you got to wait upon Jesus. God has an ultimate plan, okay? And it's not going on our time frame. And it's really starting to make a lot of us, including myself, frustrated. I find myself becoming more and more disappointed in things not going my way, per se, or the way that it should have gone constitutionally. And I just continue to watch our not mine, but our American rights be stripped away from us on a daily basis. So before we get into that, let's talk about simplicity, okay? Simplicity is the ketone Simplicity is the ketone of my kingdom. Choose simple things always. Remember yesterday when I was talking about you need to go, or my last podcast I didn't do on yesterday. It was too funky. Do you remember when I was telling you have to make your own happiness? You got to find your own quiet place and not listen to me or the podcasters or the truth seekers of the world. You just have to get away from Telegram, get away from the YouTube, from the Parler, from the BitChute, from the Rumble, and just kind of find your own peace and your own happiness. I have found peace and happiness with baking things keto style. So I have found myself still doing research so that I can bring you some information. And then, but going to happy places and not constantly be bogged down in all of the bad news. So, love and reverence the humble and the simple. Have only simple things here. Your standard must never be the world's standard. So it's basically saying, choose simplicity. Find the simplest ways to get involved. Whatever way that you think is simple is going to be a huge way, because one voice adds to a few more voices, adds to 100 more voices, adds to thousands more voices, and hopefully millions. Because we do have a voice, it's just being silenced. And that's why people like me, Jeremy Harrell, Scott McKay, Mel K, Ann Vandersteel, um, all of those folks that have their own channels, because there's no way, I mean, there's no way that you can just continue to watch the mainstream news media and believe anything. Now, you know that the first thing that the first thing that we're going to have to get into. Oops. Oh. Yes, the first thing that we're going to have to get into before we get into news is saying the Lord's Prayer. Say it with me if you can out loud, and if you can't say it in your heart, God hears you either way. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Did you watch it? Did you watch the Dark Winter inspirational first presidential address from 46 last night? If you didn't, I have commentary. Lord have mercy. If you did, when did you turn it? Or were you able to stomach the whole thing? Because in 23 minutes, now what I found interesting, a Q drop was 8:02, and that's when he actually walked out. So I don't know what the deal with that was. Maybe I'm missing that. Maybe somebody's going to translate that in a later podcast. I'm not exactly sure. However, I'm not totally on that bandwagon. I follow it just to see how many coincidences can happen before they can't be coincidences. So, the Dark Winter speech. Let's start off. Lies by the number. Here's how I. This is how I labeled, and of course this is just about the speech. Usually, this is my whole podcast on one page, maybe a little bit at the top, but I have to, line all this out for you. So the first thing he did within the first 10 seconds of his speech was blame Trump for ignoring the fact that this virus was here. So he's commemorating his bringing in. It was almost a birthday party for him and the Democrats and the Chinese, because it was an anniversary of him taking us over a year ago, because that was who it was. That was who was behind all of this. The deep state and the cabal. This is the anniversary, and that's what they were commemorating last night. Not talking about all of the graduations, including my daughter, who didn't get a graduation because of ridiculous. At the time that, let me tell you something. Let me go off on tangent here for a second. When my daughter was supposed to graduate last year in 2020 from high school, there was 525 cases of COVID inside of Brevard County on May the 20. No, when was she supposed to graduate? The 22nd of May last year. There was 525 cases in Brevard County. When they were actually allowed to graduate with social distancing, and you could only have your parents there, and you could maybe live stream it, which Grace had already moved. She'd already moved where she is now. And I'm not going to say that publicly because that's just stupid. But she said, Mom, why in the world would I come back for that? No, I'm not interested. The thrill is gone. It's an afterthought. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. Mail me my diploma. I've moved on with my life. Just like they took her prom away, which she wouldn't have gone to anyway because, but still, she is one of a few that didn't want all of those things. There's a lot of high school seniors last year that did not get the prom, and they're probably going to get it this year. I hope they get it this year. That's why you need to write to Matt Susan, and you need to write to Mark Mullins. Let them know that you're not exactly happy about this whole new curriculum that they're teaching here in Brevard County. And by the way, that's another tangent that I want to get off. Who's going to be the first attorney that's going to file a lawsuit against Brevard? I think I should place a bet, because you know that one of these students has an attorney that's a parent, and they're just going to be like, there's no way that this is constitutional, that you're going to start instilling this stuff in our schools. And you're going to see more and more high schools do that. You're going to see more counties do that. You're going to see more states do that, because I don't think that this is a county-wide thing. I think it's a nationwide implementation of this indoctrination into our school system. But I was told that we voted on it. So anyway, there was 525 cases when she was supposed to graduate. You want to know how many cases there were when her class did graduate? There was over 1,800. So yeah, but that's when they actually had it. Now, little did we know that it was going to spike just when it needed to, and just when it needs to go away, it's starting to go away. And if you don't think that it's going away, then you're watching the wrong news. And if I'm going to give you some truths, Biden has 127,000 deaths on his hand if it's a president's fault for COVID. Whole lot more than Trump. And by the way, thanks a lot for the segue there, 46 last night. Thanks for giving President Trump basically he gave you the floor plan, and he gave you the blueprint of how to handle this, because you're doing exactly the same thing that he's doing. Although not necessarily. He closed our border. You're opening them. And I don't know if you know this or not, President Biden, but did you know that our hospitals are full of not only illegal immigrants, but illegal immigrants with COVID and, hold on, I hope you're sitting down, wait for it, cholera. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, cholera. Folks, you get cholera from drinking dirty water. It's curable. You have to take a round of antibiotics, but it's not fun. And with COVID, it could cause a very large problem, because as you see with COVID, it can attack people differently. Okay. And I'm not saying that there is not a virus. I'm not saying that there isn't a cure. If you want to take the vaccine, go right ahead. If you want to take the big V, shoot it up in your arm. I'm not stopping you. I want to tell you that President Trump, when he was in office, the real president, when he was in office, he immediately tried to stop all travel. When the first lie of last night's dark winter speech, he said that it was ignored within the first 30 seconds. That is not true. He was chastised for stopping travel from where it had originated. And we don't even know if it really originated in China or in Italy. I think it really truly originated in China, and it spread to Italy accidentally or purposefully. Who knows? I think that this was a big master plan, because you have no idea how the deep state is not just our government. The deep state and the cabal and the Khazarian mafia, they're all one and the same. It's the global central bank. Okay. It's the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and all these people, that the elites. Okay. The club that George Carlin talked about that we're not part of. Okay. Oops. It's so under distress that it doesn't even want to stand up straight. It's because it should be turned upside down, folks. I'm just telling you. All right. What was his number 2 lie? I think we need to fact check the fact that he said that 527,700. He has hold on. I have a note that I carry with me of all the dead people. Would you stop it? Enough with your stupid dramatics. I'm tired of you acting like a fool. You're supposed to be the president, and you sit there and you want to talk about how bad he talked? Dude, you were nothing more than doom and gloom last night. I wanted to literally slit my wrist talking to you. What in the hell? When are you people going to wake up? And I'm not talking you people because I know that trolls have either cut me off or the people that are watching me on YouTube, you're kind of like, huh? Well, what? When are you going to wake up? This man is a sham. He has completely tried to destroy this country in 51 days. And he's doing a damn good job of it. Look at the people that are coming in here, just pouring across our border. You don't see anybody near the border because you're not allowed to get anywhere near it. You're not allowed to get anywhere near it because I guess ICE isn't even allowed to work there anymore. People are coming across, they're showing their IDs, and they're like, okay, come on in. You haven't seen it? You're not paying attention. Anybody been watching Daniel Scavino lately? His Twitter? There's some interesting comms on there. But yeah, the death number, you've got your death number wrong. You've got, like I said, you've got 127,000 on your hands. You haven't fixed anything. You haven't done anything different than Donald Trump. 46. When you say to follow the science that was projected by Fauci, because, Fauci said that 2.5 million people, if we didn't, flatten the curve and close everything down back on March the 12th, 2020, or March the 11th, 2020, then 2.5 million people will have died. Now, see, you're listening to his science. Fauci, right? That is the number that Joe Biden read out last night. That's a fifth. 1/5. 1/5 of the count. Is it going up? People are still dying from it, yes. They're also dying from comorbidities, and there's also a whole lot of people that didn't actually die from COVID. A whole lot. And you need to realize that people die from the flu and the cold and colds every year. Do you remember the movie Meet the Parents, with that complete buffoon jackass Robert De Niro and Ben Stiller, and the young girl that was getting married to the doctor? I forget what her name was. She was the sister to, okay. So she got the black eye, okay, during the volleyball game right before the wedding, and he burned down the, okay. So she had no comorbidities, was an actress, young. Does anybody remember what she died from? The flu. Is it sad? Absolutely. Could it have been prevented? A flu shot could have possibly, but you never know. Just like when Fauci came out yesterday and said, just because you've been, or who was it, Fauci or Biden or whatever, Falsey, I like to call him, Fraudchi, something. Let's call him, let's nickname him something. He came out and said, "Oh, you're still going to have to wait." It was kind of. I tried so hard to hold my tongue yesterday, and I did a pretty good job. And she might have heard me, I don't know, and I know this woman has very bad comorbidities, and I am so glad for her that she, in her mind, feels safer, that she feels as though a justice has been served for people like her, and that she now has protection over this cold. I hope she knows that she's going to have to get a new vaccine every year. I hope she knows that it doesn't really protect her against anything. I hope she knows that it's also an experiment. It's about 6 months old. I hope she knows that they pulled AstraZeneca from production because its ability to clot your blood at the surface of your skin. I wonder if she knows about the 39-year-old mother who was forced by her work, if she wanted to keep her job, to get the vaccine. And she got both doses. She died 4 days later. I wonder if her death matters. I wonder if he added her death to his piece of paper. Sorry. So now, so now that baby's going to grow up without a mama because for fear of losing her job, she had to take the shot. I wonder if she knows about all the Bell's palsy instances and all the other people that haven't even been reported, their deaths because of this. V. We've missed the details because of government. The details of life that have been taken away from our families, like the birthday parties and the graduations and the weddings that you spoke of last night, dear resident Biden. Those things have been taken away by government and fear. Fear that was created by you and perpetuated by the media. Or perpetuated by you and carried out by the media. Either one, y'all are in cahoots together. And you know it. This whole pandemic was just that. Anybody can try and tell me otherwise, just like when you people on the left laugh at me and say, I bet you believe that there was election fraud. And I laugh and say, you believed in a Russian hoax that had no evidence for 4 years. Let's see how silly you look. Moving on. To all of my Asian listeners and Asian friends, have you guys been like accosted in the streets? Has that been happening to you? Because if it has, please let me know in the comments here. Please let me know that people are attacking you, because even on the fake news, I haven't heard anything about that. Who's been accosting Asian people? This guy couldn't lie. Like, I think Mark K put it perfectly this morning. I love watching Mark K in the Patriots and the Mark K show. He's out of Jacksonville. He's fantastic. He comes on at 10 o'clock during the weekdays. Great show to watch. And I got a lot of my news from him today, just because I love how he broke everything down. He goes, I have like 7 or 8 lies that I can point out. And he is the lyingest, liarest liar ever. Lyingest, liarest liar ever. Meaning he couldn't lie anymore if he tried. Like everything that came out of my fellow Americans. Can you tell me right now, Joe? Even you stated it last night. Can you tell me what's united about this country? We are that close to a civil war. We have never been more divided, I think. In my 47 years, I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there. My 47 years of being on this planet, we have never, ever, ever, I've never seen anything like what I'm watching happen on a daily basis. And here's where I really have a problem, and this is why I call my show the Rhino Removal Project. Where on God's green earth are the Republicans? Why are you not fighting back Did you see Mitch McConnell? Okay, calm down. Did you see Mitch McConnell yesterday saying, you know what, we're going to take apart this bill. We're going to take apart this bill and we're going to basically show you how bad it is. We're going to show you how bad it is. That's like going to a murder scene and saying, well, we could have prevented this but didn't. And here's why. And here's how bad it got. Or here's the house burnt down and let's go in and pick out every little single thing. You see that thing on the wall there? Look at how badly that got burnt. We could have done something to prevent it, but we didn't. These people outsmarted us. And that's exactly what happened. They outsmarted you. They outsmarted you in every way, shape, or form. And what are you doing behind the scenes, Mitch McConnell? Have you let everybody know? Now, this is interesting, and I don't know if I should give him props for it because I've always been a person to believe that it is the right person for the job. And I'm going to vote for the right person for the job. So I think that it's wrong for him if he were to, because he doesn't want the job anymore. He knows he's lost. He's no longer the Speaker of the Senate. He's no longer the leader of the Senate. So he's not majority leader. And he basically he knows he's lost every bit of his constituency, and we all want to censure him in Kentucky. You also have a Democratic Kentucky governor. So he's just kind of 76 years old and going, what can I do? So he's going to kind of bow out. I think he's trying to make sure in legislature that if you bow out, that only a Republican can replace you. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure about that. But I know that he's behind the scenes and he's doing something so that he can slither his way out of the swamp, because he knows that he has no credit, no standing, no nothing, and we can't wait to get him out of there because he used President Trump just like most of those rhinos used President Trump to get elected and then left him high and dry when he needed him most. I want to know why Biden 46, whatever I want to call him today. I want to know why he took credit for what President Trump did. He took credit for the landing of the vehicle on Mars. I can't even remember the name of it, but that's not even really important. The fact that it happened 7 months ago, it was launched 7 months ago, and he refused to give any credit whatsoever other than blame. The only time he wanted to give credit to the prior administration was to blame it for the fact that this COVID is so bad. But now he just comes into this election who supposedly 80 million people voted for him, and he comes into this inauguration and he comes into this White House. He's got 3 vaccines on the way with a 4th getting ready to be emergency approved, but none of these are approved by the FDA, which is why that poor family that's going to have a motherless baby, the little lady that passed away because she had to get a COVID shot. Yeah, her family can't sue the government. They can't sue Moderna, which was what she took. It was the Moderna vaccine. And again, nothing. She was fine and was only forced to take the vaccine to keep her job. Want to keep a job? Take a vaccine. Just like we're forced to take the flu shot if you work in the healthcare industry here in Florida. They're forced to take it. Stupid. You know what? I've gotten one flu vaccine, and it was a long time ago. Just because my insurance covered it, and I was like, why the heck not? I should go ahead and do it. Never been so sick in my life, and I never got one. Well, no, other than when I got COVID last year, February 17th through the 29th, 2020. Yep. That was my anniversary. I didn't celebrate it. I just remember it because I know I had it, and I know that it was 7th level of hell shit. Pardon my French. So I'm curious. President Biden. Gosh, I hate calling him that. 46. I'm curious. Why do you feel the need to blame Trump? I guess because Trump blamed Obama or Obama blamed Bush for all the problems that were prior to him coming in. Are you trying to tell me that your last 50 days have been nothing but sunshine and rainbows and everything is right in the world because everybody's wearing a mask now because and now that you're president, everything is right in the world? You sir do. You have dementia. I don't know if you've been told that before. I'm sure a doctor's told your wife that. You have dementia. Dementia. Yes. Dementia. On the verge of probably on Alzheimer's. The reason why you don't have Alzheimer's is because you'll come back. You go in and out. You're most cognitive that I had seen you last night with your listen, folks. I'm begging you. Listen to me. I implore you. Excuse me for a moment. Little eyes, if you're watching, turn away. It's all I have to. I mean, and the fact that you have the nerve to tell me and the rest of your fellow Americans who they can and cannot party with on the 4th. Let me tell you something, sir. You're going to have the 25th Amendment put in your lap before that ever happens. Okay? Kamala, right on your tail. Little birdie told me the other day that she got a little upset with you. She got a little upset with you because you were making calls without her guidance and without her permission. And she told you you are not allowed to do that anymore. Anyway, so we now have the new gun control that passed the House. It's probably going to pass the Senate. I wouldn't be surprised if it did because, there's so many rhinos that are going towards it, ready for it. Those rhinos you need to know, I think you can find that list. I can post that list for you here in the comments. I'll research that for you. I think I can find that pretty easily on my Telegram. But there's about, I think it was, I don't know what the vote was, 70-30, something like that. But yeah, it passed the House. Or no, it was 253. It was because then it's going to go into the Senate. And it's probably going to pass. But here's the interesting thing. Dianne Feinstein, okay, she now that bill has passed in the House, now she's rushing to now she's going to come and take your guns. Because the thing is, folks, it's going to become mandatory that you take the V, okay? It's going to become mandatory that you do it. Or you're going to be arrested. And you won't be able to defend yourself because you're not going to have any guns. Not that you would shoot the authorities, but this is how totalitarian and a dictatorship, this is going to turn into if you don't continue to rise up. This is total. I mean, how is this at all constitutional? And if we were trying to do this to the other side, they would be kicking and screaming, talking about how Trump was a dictator. Are you kidding me? Seriously? My gosh. Anyway, moving right along. Gateway Pundit. Lots of interesting information there. At 1:00, which is right now, you might be hearing Governor Cuomo step down. If that's the case, I'm going to be very excited. And I almost want to turn off this podcast now and say, I'll catch you later. Enough news for today. And make another one later, which sounds like an awesome idea. because this sounds like it's going to be good news. So, folks, I am going to end it on this. Continue to reach out to your senators, to your congressmen, to your local, state officials, local county officials, local city officials. You have got to get on the horn and tell them that we've got to have voter reform in every single state. I don't care which state you're listening to me from, folks. Make sure that you are listening to me, you're sharing me, you're subscribing me, hit that little bell so that every time I come on, you're informed. And again, lots of information coming through. If you are still on that bandwagon of, things are happening. Oh, by the way, here's your shock report for the day. The FBI sends in an armored vehicle with two Tourette, two vans, 6 FBI vehicles, 3 local police vehicles, and arrest a young father who attended the January 6th rally. Unbelievable interview. He's being charged in connection to the violent events on January 6th in Washington, D.C. He's an Iraq war veteran and was wounded in a bomb explosion. Interesting. Canadian doctors speak out. Top of reasons why not to be afraid of COVID. So Canada is starting to come around. I'm here to tell you something. The Democrats are blocking an amendment that immigrants. Here's another one. Democrats block an amendment that would require ICE to be notified if illegal immigrant tries to buy a gun, then vote to take away gun rights from Americans. Folks, this is what I'm talking about. With our school system, with everything being implemented into our public school system, don't be silent. Create your own channel like I've done. Grow your following. Share your words. And forget political correctness. It's killing us. And it's making our conservative Christian voice very small. You've got to reach out to the people. Make your voices heard. Because the best is yet to come. Promises made, promises kept. Hey, let's keep our fingers crossed that we're going to have, instead of an impeachment, we're going to have a nice Friday celebration of a step down. Who knows? I want to thank you for watching. Once again, hit that like button if you haven't already done it, and subscribe, share it to your Facebook, share it to, copy the link and share it to whatever outlet you'd like to share it to. I'd like to grow this little adventure that I'm on. And please, also, when you're done here, visit wearetrump.net. WEARETRUMP.net. Not we letter R. It's wearetrump.net. Okay. Right there, you can find all kinds of information, how to get involved in your own state, who's turned rhino and who hasn't turned rhino, which, I mean, Trump came out and congratulated Roy Blunt, but Roy Blunt's going to be he's a rhino. Okay. He's a total rhino because, of course, he was one of those rhinos that voted for that gun control, larger background checks, which we already have. But it's going to create a longer loophole for you to get your gun. And it's going to make it more dangerous for people that are under a threat, like a woman that could be being stalked and now she's going to have to wait 4 weeks. And she also has to wait to have the restraining order be brought against her in court. So by the time she can get her gun, she's already been stalked and killed by her stalker. So anyway, on that note, your voice is as loud as mine is. Okay? You're just as powerful as I am. Okay? And I need you to show your power. Stop being silent. All right? Promises made, promises kept. Cheers, and I will see you guys on our next episode.